poppin', everybody? Welcome to Culture Popped Season 2, Episode 11. My name is Jim, and I'm happy to have you tonight. So
Jim?
my name is so my name is actually Josh, but I've got to give Drew some shit. And I'll explain in a second. But first, I'm gonna say hello to Drew, and I'm gonna say hello to Aaron. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing great. If you're wondering why I said my name is Jim, Drew was texting earlier, and he's like, "Hey, Jim, are we still on for tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Also, who's Jim? And he's like, "Oh, dude, sorry. I've been like having this guy train me named Jim. It's been a day." And I was like, "I'm saying I'm Jim tonight." So,
is Jim short for Josh? Is that like a like a Richard Dick thing? Like Jim is short for Josh?
Nope, not.
By the way, how does that work? I've never understood how that works. Your name
Richard
is Richard,
Dick?
and it's Dick for short.
Yeah.
No clue at all. I've never understood. Never understood that
like the Jack John thing. I've never understood that either. Hey,
Wait,
the abbreviated version. Yeah, like John F. Kennedy. People call him Jack. Hey, Jack.
Or William and Bill.
I mean, that I kind of get. You get the ill.
It should be Will.
It should be Will. That's true.
Or William. I'm gonna start calling Will. I'm gonna start calling Williams Billiams.
Billiam. Hello, Billiam. No. My dad's Bill, but his name is just Billy. Like, it's not William.
Bill
it's
Billy or Mac or Buddy.
So, but I can't say anything.
To me.
My brothers and I think we're all like semi-retarded because we call my dad random names. So my dad's first name is Billy. His middle name is Paul. But we call him Cole, like Cole. We'll be like, "Hey, Cole, what's up?" Like, don't ask why. It just started one day. We call him Big Animal, Dinosaur. He's got all sorts of names. So I'm sure he loves us and wonders what the hell he did wrong to have us turn out this way. But yeah, I think we've got a pretty fun show planned for tonight. In a sec, we're going to start things off talking to Aaron in a little bit because we've got some announcements to do, some things to show/listen to. And then after that, we're going to get into the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer because in case you guys haven't noticed, a trailer dropped for it yesterday, a second trailer. And then we're going to talk a little bit of comics at the end. But before we get into that tonight, let's look at the comments and see who all's here at the moment. We've got Raphael Ponce. He says, there's a poll. So if you're not on YouTube, go check out YouTube because there's a poll there asking if you're going to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. And one of the responses is, kind of basically what he's saying here, but fuck bitch ass Disney. Fuck them. We have Cajun Corey in the house. What's up, brother? How are you? Aaron Sparrow himself is also in the chat. What's up, chat?
I am. I'm talking to the chat, man. I'm talking directly to the people tonight.
Directly to the people. Andrew Gonzalez, good evening, guys. Good evening, sir. We've got Rolled at War Comics. Hey. Aaron.
Yeah, Rolled at War Comics.
Hell yeah. Adam Frey, where's Pert? Nah, that one's overplayed. Where's Doc? Hey, look, I've already talked to Doc. And when we start covering some X-Men comics, we will get Doc in here. So I would say, as Samuel L. Jackson says in Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. Where's Sydney? You know what? I would definitely get some viewers and subscribers if Sydney Sweeney were here, especially if she had a sultry top on. I'll say it that way.
I'd become a member.
Have you seen she posted a picture in a sweater, something about tits.
No, she's just owning it. She's just owning it, right? Like
she's owning it. I'll have to find it. X-Ray Girl posted it and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's great. I'm glad you're just owning it. We've got Mr. Miller #1, Ian in the house. Hello, sir. How are you? Ivan Sanchez. I say, hello, boys. Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay, Adam Frey's coming in with some knowledge here. From a Google search, Dick equals Richard is likely the 16th century
anachronism.
Yeah, but still, like, how does it?
Why do we still have that? Why do we still have daylight savings time? Why do we still collect all the dead people in one part of town? Why do we still have all these archaic things from the 16th century?
Wait. Are you saying we shouldn't have cemeteries?
I'm saying that, like, much like George Carlin said before me, plow up those dead people into the rivers, you know, and farm into the rivers of America. We need that phosphorus for farming.
Yeah, sure.
That and golf courses are just a huge waste of real estate.
Okay, I'm with you on golf courses, because if there were ever a boring sport, golf. Sorry. If there's golf fans
my uncle will be very upset with me.
For
disparaging golf, but I just don't care.
We have George C. Metropolis in the house. Hi, everyone. George, what's up, brother?
George,
nice to see you.
I'm told that George has signed up for the mailing list and has knelt before Doomface.
Oh, really? Really? That's pretty awesome. We'll be talking about some Kneel Before Doomface here in a second. She's even hot in a sweater. Talking about Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, she's a good looker. And then we had that person that's been in Hollywood for decades be like, oh, she's ugly and not talented. I'm like, well, whether you want to say she's talented or not, each their own.
That's subjective. That is subjective, but she is objectively not ugly. Like, she may not be everybody's cup of tea. Like, she's not my type, but like, I can look at her and say she is objectively attractive.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm gay and I can objectively say she's attractive. Like, I have no shame.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like,
she's a pretty girl. I'm just not a blonde guy. And she seems super cool. So
it'd be very hard to
not buy
her a drink at a bar, I gotta say.
Yeah. Like, look, I would chat her up, whether I was interested or not.
Yes.
She seems like she's fun and she's cool, and like I said, she is objectively attractive. In a world of Megan Rapinoe's, be a Sydney Sweeney.
We also have Mark McGrath in the house. Tuesday night comic talk with the boys. And he also said, if Josh thinks she's hot, she's hot. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then finally, we're going to end with this comment before we get on to tonight, because I completely agree with this. George says, Josh needs to be monetized. I agree, man. So with that said, if you're not subscribed, go subscribe. We're on push to get me to 500 so I can at least start getting super chats and memberships going. We do have plans for membership tiers and things that we will offer and do for members. Just waiting to get there. But it'll happen.
For people who often get called grifters, we sure don't make any money doing this.
Man, that's the truth. I sure as heck spend a lot of money, but I'm not making the money. But yeah. But seriously, we'd love to have you here. We're just a bunch of nerds that talk about stuff that we love or maybe dislike. But we try to keep things a little positive, or at least stay relevant with what's going on in the industry. So if nerdy type stuff is your thing, specifically comic book based nerdy stuff, we're hopefully a channel that you will like. So give us a subscribe and stay tuned for everything we've got in the pipeline. But let's go ahead and get things kicked off tonight. And we're starting by focusing on our main man here, Aaron Sparrow. And we're going to do a little talking about Kneel Before Doomface. So I will say we've kind of discussed this. We've talked about it lightly. No details really. For has it been a year?
It's been about a year, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like, to do time. But it's been something that the moment I heard the concept of it, I was like, okay, this could be fun. And then it was like a week later, I had Aaron just kind of give like an excerpt of an idea of part of the script. And I was like, oh, yep, no, we're like golden. This needs to happen now, right now. And
it's taken some refinement. Yeah, no, it's taken some refinement. I sent, so Drew's actually read more of it than anybody so far. And then I had sent Josh the same document I sent Drew, but it was like right when Josh was going to Vegas, and so like he didn't get a chance to read it. And then once he was like, "I'm gonna sit down and read it," I was like, "Don't! I've already changed a million things. Like I've restructured it. There's a whole new opening. Like it's completely different now." Because I had like a really good idea for how to do like some opening pages, and also some things that Renzo wanted to do for the campaign. We were like, okay, well, what would be exciting to like, have, what kind of pages would we want to show off? And so I rewrote the opening, and now there's like a whole prologue. So now you don't just jump into Doom, a news report about what happened to Doomface and then him coming back in the present day. Now there's a whole prologue that shows the exact moment that he was banished in the 80s. So the premise of the book, there's an A story and a B story. The A story is about Doomface. He is a villain from the 1980s, as you can probably tell from his look. He's got a lot of different inspiration in there. There's some Skeletor, there's some Hordak, there's some Primeval from the Ghostbusters cartoon that had the big gorilla, Dr. Doom. There's a lot of different inspirations that went into him. If you guys like Darkstalkers, there's a little bit of Bishamon element to his armor. All kinds of just like visual things that I really liked. And I pulled together some samples and I sent them over to Tim Lim, and Tim Lim did a killer costume design for me, putting those elements together and adding his own spin to it. And then Renzo came in, since he's going to be drawing the book, and added his own flavor to it. And so we've got this final design for Doomface that everybody seems to really like. And in fact, it's been hard to get artists to want to draw any of the other characters for covers. Like everybody's like, I want to do Doomface and Lexi. I want to do Doomface and Lexi. And I'm like, guys, there's hero characters too. There's other villains. There's other things that we can do. And they're like, yeah, but Doomface though, but Lexi though. So it's been a lot of fun. So that's the A story. Is he is a villain from out of time that has now come back to the present day and is determined to reestablish his place as the number one supervillain in the world. But obviously, the world is a lot different in 2024 than it was in the 1980s. And so he takes this TV producer, Lexi Vega, who's our little Spitfire character, just 5 feet of fury, and he makes her his major domo, and she has to kind of like lead him through the world now, and how it's changed and how things are different. So there's a lot of elements of comedy there. There's a nice little mentor-mentee relationship going on. Just a lot of stuff that we can really dig in and have fun with. The B plot follows Kid Notorious and Iggy the Inflatable Iguana. They are two small town heroes who have come to the big city to make their name as superheroes. And the conceit of their story is, what if breaking into the superhero business was like breaking into the modern day comic book industry? So they run into a lot of problems right away, and those problems are not villains. Those problems are fellow heroes, like the Social Justice League. So there's a lot of this book is a comedy. If you guys like Archer, if you guys like the Venture Brothers, Sam and Max, these are all things that or even like South Park, with the way they kind of just take shots at everybody. You're really going to like this book, I think.
Yeah, I think I mean, look, again, the little bit that I know about it and what I've heard or read or seen, I'm excited for it. And even when you're just kind of going through the concept of these characters and discussing like, oh, we got a character for the Social Justice League that's named this, and you're kind of giving details, and I was like, oh, that's freaking perfect. And one of those you've kind of shown on Twitter. So
we've shown off the leader of the Social Justice League, the White Knight.
Yeah.
And so don't worry, minorities. He will speak for you.
I do feel like Kid Notorious should potentially be Notorious KID.
Oh, that's not bad. Oh, see, where were you in the pitch stage? That's pretty good. Actually, that's his superhero name, but he's his actual given name is just Spam. So that's like what he gets referred to a lot. But nice. It's hard to put that out in promo art and have people not go, what's going on? So Kid Notorious is his superhero name. And then Iggy is his buddy, who's an actual inflatable iguana. And he's a lot of people will view it as him being like the sidekick, but he's actually the hero, and Spam is more of the sidekick.
Nice. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Drew, since you've actually gotten to see and read more than me, is there anything you want to kind of comment on real quick about what you've read for Doomface?
I just want to say that dying is easy and comedy is hard. And that's one thing that I kind of believe I've kind of been stuck a bit back in my head since I was in middle school. And look, comedy for me is very damn hard. But Aaron kills it in this. And there's two or three. Actually, the first set of pages Aaron sent, I was laughing, and a couple of them when Doomface comes back, I was laughing. And then there's a couple of pages a little later on that Aaron sent later, like it had me laughing. There is some really, really good stuff here. You will be laughing. You will enjoy it. There is some kick-ass scenes in here as well. But yeah, there's something here for everyone. You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Look, it's a lot of fun, and I think there's a comment here that oh no, not that one. There we go. This is gonna piss a lot of people off. I mean, you know what? Look, if it's written in a way that if it pisses you off, you probably deserve to be pissed off. Like, because you know that we're talking about you. But it actually wants me to. One of the things that I've never actually asked you, Aaron, is like, is it just the insanity of the state of the world today? Is that why you're like, you know what? I'm writing this comic.
Well, I've always loved parody, and I've always loved, like shows like the Venture Brothers, shows like Archer, that have like kind of that sensibility. I love the South Park guys and their ability to just like go in on everybody and point out how ridiculous our world is becoming. And they've actually become prophets. Is they'll look at an issue and they'll take it to the most ridiculous degree, and we'll laugh and we'll say, "Isn't that ridiculous?" And then 4 years later, we're exactly in that situation, going like, "Oh, I guess it wasn't that much." Like Idiocracy. Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy? And it seems less like a comedy and more like a documentary now of the downfall of Western civilization. That's kind of like the type of humor that I've always liked. And I've always been kind of like a counterculture person. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't like to be told what to think. And so, this is really going to be a counterculture kind of send up about all of the stupid things, not only in our industry, in pop culture entertainment, in comic books, but just the world in general. But none of it is intended to be heavy-handed. None of it is intended to be preachy. It's all intended to just make you laugh and say, "Isn't this ridiculous that we're in this situation?" Because I don't like, like you guys, I don't like being preached to. I just want to have a good time. So that's the goal of the book, is to have a good time. I do want some serious stakes in there, much like the Venture Brothers. Characters can die, characters can, be, written out. There are serious stakes to the book, but it's also a huge farce. So it's kind of what appeals to me. And I've kind of got I was always a big Sam and Max fan. If you guys have never read Sam and Max, it's this great book by Steve Purcell, who now works at Pixar, unless he's been part of the cuts that have gone on. But he used to work for Lucasfilm. They did some great video games. LucasArts did some Sam and Max games. There's been some Telltale games with Sam and Max. They had their own cartoon show at one point. It's about a dog and a rabbit and their freelance police. And the Steve's style of humor is something that was a huge influence on me. And much like Doomface, if there's not something going on in the dialogue that's meant to make you laugh or make you chuckle, there'll be something going on in the art to do so. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Nice. Yeah, I think I think it's going to be a lot of fun just based on what I've read. And I agree with you. I don't think it's heavy-handed. I don't think it's preachy. And honestly, I think some of the commentary that it has, I think a lot of the people that it's commentary on may not even realize that it's commentary on them. Not that I'm speaking to anyone's intelligence or anything. I'm just, just saying. I do want to say real quick, Tim's Talk. Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you for being here. We also had Miss Sassy Sasquatch pop in the chat. I'm here for She's here for Deadpool. We're here for Aaron right now. But no, I'm happy to see you here. And Cannoli is also in here. And he mentioned something about crossing swords, but I can't find it now. So, look, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Allegedly. Aaron, this is
World of War comics. Yeah. You were. I just noticed that. Yeah, good call, Josh.
Yeah.
A lot of the Tick. I knew there was one that I was forgetting. But obviously, I'm a big fan of the Tick. Big fan of Ben Edlund. Big fan of Eli Stone and the work that they did, and all the different versions of the Tick that we've gotten over the years. So yeah, there'll be a lot of tongue in cheek. There'll be some very one of the things I wanted to do with this book. And then when we were doing the initial character designs, it was tough to kind of get things nailed down, and that's why I went out to like different artists to kind of get different versions of things before we settled on anything. Is people would read the inherent humor of the idea, and so then they'd start trying to design the characters to look humorous. And I didn't want the characters, unless they are specifically stupid, like the Lamprey. The lamprey looks stupid, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to. But I wanted the characters to look cool. I wanted them to look like something you'd want to buy an action figure of. I wanted, them to be very toyetic, because the humor is not necessarily from the character, unless that's intended for the character. The humor is going to be from the situations and from the the dialogue and the things that we do with the story. So
nice. I love the character designs, and you saying they're toyetic makes perfect sense. I think it's a perfect way of describing it, because they do look like they'd be like just bomb ass action figures. Do we have an idea on a date for launching crowdfunding?
I want to launch in June. I wanted to go in May, but Renzo is a little bit behind schedule, finishing up a couple of other commitments. And so once he's able to hit the ground running, we should be able to launch in June, and just keep cranking away on the book. And I'm hoping to deliver it before the end of the year.
Nice.
That would be my goal, was to start the campaign in June, and then have you getting those books by Christmas.
Yep. And Renzo on art, you've also already started bringing in other artists to do covers. I don't know if you want to name drop any of those artists.
Yeah, I've got Lionel Castellani, who did the beautiful, like, kind of eerie or creepy magazine style cover with Doomface and Lexi in front of all the zombies. Because one of our jokes in the book is that Doomface decides reduce, reuse, reanimate, because so that he can have some minions. So like Castellani took that, and he's such a brilliant artist. He took that and he gave me like a really great, like, old school cover, and we're going to do like a vintage style. So you can get it like really crisp and clean, or you can get it looking like it's beat up and it's got dog-eared edges and like a coffee ring on the cover. Like, it's just a book that's been around since the 70s or the 60s. We've got Nate Watson doing a cover. I've worked with Nate all the way back in the Boom Studios days. He worked on Toy Story with Jesse Snyder and I. Then he went on to Lucasfilm for some years, and he actually did he did like a brilliant Miss Meow cover for me. That was a takeoff of Mike Zeck's Wolverine versus Captain America cover from the annual. He did just a gorgeous version of Miss Meow versus Leonidas for that. Love working with Nate, and he's I can't wait. I've seen the piece that he's doing, and he just started the inks on it last night, and I can't wait to show it off. It looks so good.
Nice. I think this is all really exciting, and I know, I mean, just getting to see everything come to fruition makes it feel more real, and then I know once the campaign starts, it's gonna feel even more real.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a little.
I'll be on here chain smoking and like coffee and like.
Wait, have y'all seen the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes,
where he works. It's like that one waitress that she's like the chain smokers.
Just
man,
looks like I picked the wrong week to stop.
Yeah, fuck them at the front. They know what they're doing. Seating me with nothing but tourists. Oh, those tourists acting like they don't know how to tip. They know how to tip.
Yeah, I'll be doing the Lloyd Bridges.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, oh yeah. Stop the psychobabble bullshit. Wash the fucking dishes and shut the fuck up. God. And then she goes around the corner and she's like, hi.
If you've ever worked on the service industry, you know that is accurate.
Oh,
every one of those characters is accurate.
100.
Waiting is so much true. There is so much true to life in that damn film. Working at Outback Steakhouse for 2 years. Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, sorry to sidetrack us there. That is by far one of my favorite movies. But Aaron, I think we're debuting something tonight, something that people haven't gotten to experience yet.
Yeah, the only people that have really heard this are a couple of close friends. So Jim, one of the comics aficionados, one of the friends of ours on Weird Science, who actually he does Weird Science. What's the exact name of his channel? It's just Weird Science Comics with Jim, right? Like,
yeah, I think it's just Weird Science.
Okay, so yeah, he did. So guys, check him out. His channel's really great. But he did a theme song for Comics Aficionados, and then I jokingly said, "Oh man, I should have you do one for Kneel Before Doomface." And like 2 days later, he gave me like a sample. and then he was like, and here's if you want to do a sitcom version, and here's if you want to do this, and he was like just giving me all these different versions. And so I picked out the most metal one, and he and I went through and we refined the lyrics. He had some scratch lyrics in there, and I went through and refined them, kept them as close to kind of like the tempo that he had as possible. But yeah, we're gonna let you guys hear the song for the first time.
Yeah. All right.
And this will be part of the campaign.
Heck yes. All right, here we go, guys.
Here we go! You cannot fight, your heart goes still. Heroes think they win, but they never will. A feeling so hard that he can't be survived. Now behold, that time has arrived. And just imagine how it's gonna feel as you beg for mercy under my heel. Kneel before Doomface, then kneel and kneel before Doomface. You are gonna kneel again and again. Kneel before Doomface. Kneel before Doomface.
Man, if 80s metal and 90s like Saturday morning cartoons could have a baby, that would be it.
It's so like, so Adam, I was just typing back to Adam. I'll just say it. Adam was saying like, this has like Transformers, the movie opening vibes. Yeah, that was actually by design. So the two songs that I've been using whenever I've put anything on Instagram to kind of hype this, I've either been using For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica, or I've been using Night of Destruction from the Transformers, the movie soundtrack. Or no, I'm sorry, not
Nice.
Night of Instruments of Destruction.
Nice.
Which is the song that when the Decepticons come onto the ship and murder all the Autobots and traumatize all the kids that were in the theater.
Just killed Ironhide. What the hell?
It's like, I know, it's like, oh, but like hot magma just came out of Prowl's mouth and he fell over dead. What the hell's going on?
Lily cliff jumper. What the hell?
Such heroic nonsense.
Love it.
We do have some comments real quick on the song. Sorry. We got my Tila 1 MVP. Hello, sir. How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, buddy. I really appreciate it. But he said, wow, my T levels just increased by over 90,000. I mean, you're not wrong. I even got some doses of tea with that. So, and then I'll be honest, I was thinking it would be more cartoony. This is amazing. Who is the band?
This is all Jim, man. This is all Jim from Weird Science. Man's got some talent.
Jim's an awesome dude. And I don't know how he manages to do half the stuff that he does. But yeah, Andrew Gonzalez, this is pretty sweet. Ivan Sanchez rocking out with the fire in the rock hands. And Mark McGrath with probably the most on-point comment. Awesome. It'll sound great over the opening credits when this becomes an animated series.
From your text to or from your comment to God's ears, man. I would love to do an animated series. I already know who most of the voices would be, or who I would like to get. I've got some people that I know would do it, and then I've got some people that I've never met that I would hope would do it. I was talking to James Silvani the other night, and he was asking me like, who'd be the voice for this and who'd be the voice for that, and he was like, well, who'd be the voice for Iggy, the inflatable iguana? And Iggy is by far the most positive character in the book. His motto is, it never hurts to help, but it always ends up hurting to help. The poor guy. And I was like, it's got to be somebody who's just like relentlessly positive. And Silvani said, so like Jack McBrayer from 30 Rock or Fix It Felix. And I was like, oh my God. That's perfect, actually.
Nice.
So yeah, that'd be super cool.
We do have a few comments here that we'll run through just before we move on. But we've got Adam Frey, but is Chris Latta the voice of Doomface?
No, actually, I've done a lot of since I read back all the dialogue in the book. I always do like a live reading to kind of make sure that I'm getting the tempo right and to make sure that the character feels right. I've actually been doing Doomface's voice, and I think I could do it. I think I could pull it off.
I think you could. I might have you speak to the audience before we move on to the next thing in a minute, if you're down with that.
Should I pull up some Doomface dialogue? Let's see.
I mean, I was just gonna say, when I tell you let's do it now, maybe you can tell the audience they need to sign up to a certain email or something.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Yeah. But before you do, we've got a few more comments. Mark McGrath looks great. Aaron, I agree. I think this is going to be just awesome. And guys, we talk about this a lot, but the thought and attention to detail and preparation that's been put into this, same with what the stuff Drew's been working on. It's what you're not getting in mainstream comics. So that's another reason to be excited. Adam Frey again. I have Kneel Before Doomcock stuck in my head, and I sure hope that's not what I wrote. Well, who knows?
What's funny is if anybody knows Doomcock, can you put me in contact with him? Because I have a little bit of a conflict. Like I said, this has been in my head for a long time, and I was watching a Doomcock video probably like 3-4 months ago, and he mentioned that his base is Xanadu. And that's actually in the book. So I don't know if I need to take it out or not. I don't know if I'm going to step on Doomcock's toes by having it in there, because we both thought of the same thing, for the characters. I don't think I'll have a problem with it, but I also don't want to cause any friction.
I think we have some degrees of separation that we can get you in contact.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically me to Zax and Zax to Pasha and Pasha to Doomcock. But we'll go through that. Doomface is dope though. Yeah, it sure is. And Doomface sounds like fun. Agreed. It sounds like a hell of a time. And this a little separate, but Omega Man's here. And hi everyone. Aaron, I'm glad your laptop is fixed so you can keep your glorious Twitter clapbacks coming.
Oh, thank you. I was like, I don't, if you guys see me on here and you guys see me on Aficionados, I'm fairly affable. But like, if you just read my Twitter, you'd think that I was like super spicy all the time, because I mean, Twitter for me is just going like, oh, look at this dumb thing. Look at this dumb thing someone said. Look at this dumb thing they're doing.
I think that's kind of all of us though, because I think you're clapbacks on Twitter, but then we get around you in person and you're just jolly and warm. Like that's the best way I can describe, and chill, like just laid back and chill. And I'm usually kind of like high energy, manic, and oh dear God, I don't want to crash the stream, and I'm trying to pay attention to a million things, and oh, my idiot's showing. But Max can attest when you're near me, I'm like a nice, calm, lake water, just chilling. Like I am so not this type of manic. And then Drew, the first time I met Drew, I said he was handsy. So,
Drew's a hugger.
Drew is a hugger. But yeah, I think we're all, I think people might have perceptions of us and then they meet us in person and they're like, oh, well, okay. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I try to, being on YouTube and having worked in comics, and you go to a comic convention and you're walking around with people, and people have seen you on, they've seen us on Aficionados, or they've seen us, wherever, on a panel at a show or something, and they come up and they talk to you, and anybody who ever comes up to me or like has bought my work or is familiar with what we do, or it's like, oh, I really like you on Aficionados, or I saw you on Clownfish, or whatever it is that, or World Class Bullshitters, wherever we go and wherever we appear, I always am. Like I'm extra interested in making since you took the time not only to watch or to support us in some way, since you took the time to do that, I always want to spend a little bit of extra time with you and making sure that that's important to us. So I think that when people meet you in person, maybe they think you're a certain way, but we all try to have that warmth and to really we appreciate every single person that supports us and that listens to us, even if you disagree with us. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, and I would say too, if you've ever been to cons and you've met us at cons, one, if you've been to a con and you've seen us and you never come up and said hi, please come say hi. We love talking to people. It helps us build just genuine friendships too. Like I'm here every Tuesday and I see the same people in the chat, and if I have a chance to meet you in person, like I genuinely want to meet you in person and kind of get to know who you are. And you might walk up and be like, "Oh, hi, I'm Jack." I'm like, "Oh, cool. What's up, Jack?" And then you might say your handle and I'm be like, "Oh shit." So you'll get that reaction. But I completely agree with Aaron on that one. Mark, Aaron says, or Mark says that you complete me. Do you?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's more or less accurate. Yeah. I've been known many times to say on the stream, like, "Oh, I'm here," and thankfully I have smart people with me. So, but Aaron, before we start moving on, does Doomface have any messages he wants to give anyone that's watching?
Well, each and every one of you should go and sign up for the mailing list that Lexi has put together. It's on kneelbeforedoomface@gmail.com. I recently received an email from a place called Del Taco offering me free snack tacos if I signed up for their app. I don't know what that's about, but what they don't realize is that Doomface needs nothing free. Everything is already Doomface's by right. I am the inheritor of creation. Everything shall be mine. All your snack tacos belongs to me.
What about the double Del?
What is the double Del?
Is that the burger? Is that what they call the burger?
Is it? I don't know. I don't go to Del Taco for burgers.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Why would you?
It's actually a good burger. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, like I so like Doomface's voice, like I just really like kind of like a low sort of I don't even know who you are, like sort of sort of snobbery to his character. But I have done a couple of readings of him where he becomes more threatening and the voice like modulates and changes and I think all I need is just like a little bit I want to put a little bit of a filter over it, but that's basically kind of the Doomface voice is just that kind of low, I barely have time for you kind of like there's a bit where he's got all these zombies like working around the castle and Lexi's like, did you resurrect a bunch of dead people? And he's like, oh, what, Lexi, you got all pissy when I said we should get some slaves, like that sort of
I'm clipping that. The moment we finish, I'm clipping that. Oh my god, that's great. Okay,
Lexi's great too. So Lexi's actually, like, if we do any pieces of animation, Lexi will actually be voiced by my very good friend Ali Moreno, and she's an accomplished voice actress and really, really good. And she's got that right level of fire. A lot of Lexi's personality is based on my friendship with her. So
nice. Zax wants to know: would you say his voice transitions?
I think you'd have to explain that to Doomface, and I don't think it would go well.
I mean, that could be really not even putting the full thing in there, but you could just have a page where you change the scene changes to Doomface and someone is like at the end of explaining it and he just has like a response. But you just have the person be like, and that's what trans is, and then just have him have a response. And then,
well, there is a moment where he's doing, you guys remember in like G.I. Joe and things like that, like Cobra Commander would always appear on all the Times, the Times Square screens, and it's a very villain trope, and like on all of the like take over all the TVs and I talk with my hands too much. He would take over all the TVs and be like, citizens of the world, and start doing his little threatening thing. I want to have Doomface recording a bit for that. And he's like, every knee shall bow, every man, every woman on this world. And then the assistant just like leans over and whispers into his ear. And he's like, what? How many genders? And then just is like very confused. And it's just like, oh, I cannot wait to destroy this world.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Max is confirming the double Del, the hamburger Del Taco, it slaps. I'm telling you.
Wow. He's using, is it as good as ice cream, Max? Ice cream. Blah, 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 blah.
I need to get that loaded in here at some point. But yeah. Don't worry, folks. We'll make sure you're well aware of what that is before too long. Before we start, I do kind of want to point this out. Well, first of all, I want to say, because we'll kind of lead into some conversations here. But Mark McGrath said, so Drew has a comic, Aaron has a comic. Where's Josh's comic? I'm gonna start off by saying Doomface is not the only comic that Aaron's working on. He's got something else coming out. So I don't know if you just want to do a quick little pitch to that so people can tell their comic shops real quick.
Yeah, well, actually, I've got a couple of different things coming out. So I did a Yuri Han backup for Street Fighter Game Gals #1. That's available for order now. So if you guys like Yuri, she's my favorite Street Fighter character, so it was just an absolute blast getting to do even like just a little short story with her. And the art is fantastic. Like Matt Moylan, who is over at Udon, he just lines up these fantastic artists. So it's going to be a great little short story. So that'll be out. You can get that directly from your comic book. My laptop crashing lost me a couple of days of work on Black and White #3. I'm actually co-writing that with Art to Bear. So I've been kind of putting that back together today so I can get him some pages over tomorrow that he can look at. So working on that. And then as far as editing, I'm just wrapping up Brotherhood of the Wolf #1. So if you guys go to my Twitter and you just look up the hashtag Brotherhood of the Wolf, you'll see pages from that. I'm actually doing that with Wes Azadani and Drew's artist on he did some Born of Blood with Drew, and he's doing Unholy Nightmare with Drew, Aurelio Mazzara. Woo! So Aurelio's absolutely killing it on both of those books. He's so damn good. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. And then I'm also editing a couple of other things that I haven't been given clearance to talk about yet, but I will as they're coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, trust me, Aaron. I wish I could talk about him too.
and I was gonna say, we all know that Drew has Born of Blood that's out. You can go find it. He's also got Unholy Nightmare, which you can go back. And we've discussed it. And is there? I mean, look, I know you've got a multiple other things in the works, but is there anything you can actually announce yet, or is it all still shh?
It's all. Honestly, it's driving me nuts. I wish I could talk about half this stuff right now. Aaron knows these projects. Aaron has read these projects, and they are so fucking awesome. I the one I'm very proud of, and the other one I think people are going to love too. But stay tuned. This fall, New York Comic Con, there should be something coming out at New York Comic Con that we're both involved with.
Yeah, I know 3 of those projects. 3 projects.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I know I've read 3
at least three of them. Yeah.
and I know of another one that I haven't read, but I know about. So yeah, awesome. But a lot of good stuff. As for me, look, I do writing. I'm focusing on this for right now. And plus a lot of my scripts I don't think would translate to comics well. So
and Josh, I'll say for me, you're a great proofreader. Honestly, it's because hey, people don't know if you're tuning in. You reviewed Batman comics for Batman News. So yeah. Who better to have review a script than someone who's reviewing comics professionally?
For sure. I've actually had a few people reach out on Twitter asking if I would review comics though. I'm gonna be jumping back into that pretty deeply here in the future. But if you ever want me to read over a comic, whether it's a finished comic or to get notes, I'm happy to do that. But always try to hire an editor if you can. But yeah, I have my own writing that's out there. Just it's not really meant for comics. I'm not going to be one of those Netflix guys that's like, oh, here's my Netflix pitch. I'm going to make it a comic.
Come on, Josh. Let's do something about two friends in New York who are navigating painful divorces. Let's make that a comic.
Right. All right. But if you're curious about the stuff I'm writing, you can go to my Twitter page. I'm pretty sure I have a pinned tweet there that covers some of my stories that I'm working on slowly but surely. But right now, this is my focus. This takes a lot of my time, the channel, and I'm very happy kind of just being a nerd and chatting about it. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and move on to tonight's topics. So as we started the show off saying, we've got a little trailer that dropped yesterday that quite a few people seem to be talking about. And it is the second trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. I know we have varying opinions across the board on the trailer itself, Deadpool, the MCU, Disney. But we're just gonna let it all out here, because if we're feeling it, the chances are that a majority of other people are feeling the same way. But I'm just gonna kind of go to each of you guys real quick and say, one, did you watch the trailer? Two, what did you think about it? I'll start with Drew, and then I'll go with Aaron, and then I'll kind of share my thoughts afterwards. But Drew, did you watch this trailer? And if so, what did you think?
I watched the trailer. I thought it was really good. You know, I don't know if I'd say it was great. I think it went on too long. I thought the end scene with Deadpool talking to what the hell's her name? Blind Out. Yeah, talking about, it's like, okay, this is going on too much. This is too long.
I agree.
Yeah, but everything before then, I really enjoyed, and I like the tone they've set up with Logan, because it's really, I mean, it seems like they're really setting up the events that led to the film Logan. Just, I guess that kind of like in between what caused Xavier to go nuts, and they see Logan he's kind of just cast away. We don't want you here. It's like, all right, this is pretty good. I'm assuming, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, it looks fun, and a lot of action, blood, just like a lot of blood and guts, and yeah, I'm fairly excited for this. It just looks like dumb fun. That's all I want. Dumb fun. I'm going to be able to enjoy this, and I'll be there for this.
Aaron, what were your general thoughts on the trailer?
Or did you just see Max's? It's like, is that why you lost it? Because you saw Max's ice cream? Yum. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah, I need to get that video on here.
It's so
Go
good.
ahead.
It's so weird and random. You guys are gonna love it. It should be like one of those reward things. Someone says something good in the chat and they get that.
Yeah.
Look, that's the plan.
I actually really liked the trailer, except like Drew said, for that last little bit. Like, I was like, that didn't need to be there. That made me kind of like took me out of the mood that the trailer gave me, because I was like, oh, this actually looks like a movie that might kick ass. I do have some general problems with, like, I've never really fully enjoyed the Deadpool movies, because being that they're rated R for the violence, they always get to, like, we can just cuss like crazy, and we can have all these, really like crass jokes and humor. And they kind of like pack that in, and it feels super forced to me. And a lot of the humor in the Deadpool movies feels super forced. Like that whole, the whole teaser trailer that we got with him talking about, I'm Marvel Jesus. And just like, and then just the fourth wall breaking, I don't think really works in the film for me. The whole like, pegging's not new to me, friendo, but it is for Disney. And I'm like, number one, are you sure about that? And number two, I don't need that. I think I don't want the immersion broken. You can do a little bit of it, but when they do they do the meta stuff to excess, it takes me out of the narrative of the movie. And so I want this to be a little bit more straightforward Wolverine and Deadpool. I know I'm not going to get that. But the trailer itself, really great trailer. A lot of stuff in it I liked. It's always good to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. This image right here where he's got the sleeves off, we were debating whether or not that was his arms are CG'd or if those are his natural arms sticking out. It'd be funny if they're CG'd. Why didn't they just give him the the Drax arm from Secret Invasion that Emilia Clarke had? Just give him that. That'd be amazing. That's a meta joke I would like, where Deadpool's like, oh, we CG'd your arms in, huh? But like the action's great. The use of the Madonna song is really good. Deadpool is really good about using these kind of songs that you would not expect to go with the type of action, and it just works. And actually, the part that I was most excited about, that I would never have believed you, because I've never liked this character in the comics at all, was Cassandra Nova. Yeah. And because the scene where she's fighting Wolverine and she's doing the telekinesis and jacking, just jacking around with him, I thought was great. I was like, oh, I really like this. And the fact that she looks like a gender swapped James McAvoy, because she's Xavier. Cassandra Nova is Xavier's twin that he tried to kill in the womb. Which is ridiculous, but it's comics. But the fact that the actress kind of looks like James. Yeah.
We're gonna dive into Cassandra here in a second, so we'll get that in. But
but the phrasing, the fact that they found an actress who, when she turns and you see her from the side, I'm like, oh shit, that looks like they just like femmed up James McAvoy. I thought that was pretty damn cool. So, you know, I'm very down on the MCU. I'm very down on Disney and Marvel, and you know, and I'm very down on kind of the you know, Kevin Feige coming out and going like, oh, I can say F on stage, aren't I edgy and cool? And it's like, no, you're not edgy or cool. But I don't know. It could be fun. Before I said I don't see this breaking $1 billion. After this trailer, if the word of mouth is good and if it's fun and people go back and they see it multiple times and have a good time with it, I can see it breaking $1 billion. I don't know. It might be the last thing that MCU has in the tank that can break $1 billion. It still won't make up for all of the hundreds of millions of dollars they've lost on Phase 4 and 5.
Oh no, yeah.
You know, they'll still be in the hole, but you know, at least they can tout one success out of the last 12 movies or whatever they've done.
For sure. Look, I'll say I thought the trailer was a lot of fun. When it comes to Deadpool, I don't have high expectations of wanting like greatness. I want to be able to like turn my brain off, have some alcohol, and watch a stupid movie that's going to make me laugh, and also get the benefit of some good action and maybe like a heartfelt moment or two that just kind of pops up out of nowhere. But for me, I thought the trailer was a riot. I'm a little different than Aaron. I don't mind low hanging fruit. So the Marvel Jesus thing I actually thought was funny. But it's also a situation of I think a good percentage of these jokes that we're seeing probably weren't initially in the film, and then after Marvel just bombed so badly with their last couple of projects, and people are stepping in and saying, "Nope, we're changing things, we're doing things." I do feel like some extra control kind of got shifted back to Ryan Reynolds and team. So for that, I'm grateful. I will agree with you guys. I thought the end of the trailer where
it's a funny bit, but it's just
it went on for two, but that it just needed to be in the film, not in the trailer. Like they should have done like the cocaine joke, him saying, "Oh, you know, that's the one thing Feige said we couldn't do," and then have her give like one example, but it should have just been the do you want to build a snowman? And he's like, "Yes, but I can't." And just like they should have just had that and cut out the middle part.
I did like Forrest Gump quite a bit.
I put that in my tweet. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a Forrest Bump. Come join us. We're live." But yeah, I mean, look, it's fine, but it was too much for a trailer. However, I love Blind Al as a character. I think that's my favorite character out of the Deadpool films because it's just so outrageous. But yeah, I think it'll be fun, and I'm really excited to see kind of what they bring to the table. And I agree, Aaron. I think it's going to end up pulling $1 billion. And I know some people were upset that Hugh Jackman's back, and they're like, "Oh, you know, he had the perfect ending with Logan. Why would you do this?" I think enough time to separate.
No, he didn't. I don't care. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you had the perfect ending." I'm like, no, that wasn't the perfect ending to the X-Men saga. Get out of here. Like all the X-Men are dead, and he's just really depressed, and like Xavier's. You know, Xavier's cursing, and I did not love Logan. I liked it well enough as like an Elseworlds kind of story, but I did not love it.
Oh yeah, same, I mean, same. I will say it wasn't a perfect ending for the X-Men saga, but I liked it as an ending for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. But now it's not an ending for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Yeah. So
I just like the fact that he finally got to use his claws the way he was meant to. Oh, dude, you know what else in this trailer? When he's fighting Deadpool and it's swords versus claws, I'm like in. I'm so in.
oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you give me a scene where Wolverine fights the Hulk and he like beheads Mark Ruffalo, Professor Hulk, I'll be super happy. Or if he just beheads Mark Ruffalo, like it's just Mark Ruffalo at brunch being Mark Ruffalo, and he comes in and just.
As much as I would like that to be the case, I don't know if that is the case. However, there's rumors that a certain Hulk actor is here, but we'll see if that's actually true or not. Yeah, so. Because that could be kind of awesome. Look, there's going to be so many cameos, and I'm sure some of them will play larger roles. But like we're going to look at some that popped up, which are all kind of minor characters. But we've already discussed actors and stuff that are coming back for this that are for sure back. And it's a lot of people. Like it's a lot. And then even last week I mentioned that they revealed another cameo at CinemaCon, but. Chris Hemsworth showed up to film a tiny little segment, but you know this to me, this is how you can do fun stuff and gimmicky stuff with the multiverse well. like Marvel's been trying to do and failing miserably. I think this is getting it right, and they're still missing out on the thing that you could do that makes the multiverse or alternate versions of yourself interesting, is really kind of creating a juxtaposition of, I guess, the path not taken potentially. But nobody's really done that. So
if they don't give me a 5'3" Hugh Jackman Wolverine, I don't know what we're doing this for.
Well,
the comedy bit inherent in that of like, him like getting down off of a stool or something like that and only being 5'3" and Deadpool just like riffing off of that, I think would be a lot of fun.
I will say this. There was a rumor that hit the internet, I guess like a month ago, maybe, about a certain actor showing up in this. And I was like, bullshit. I don't believe it. I haven't heard anything. But after Vegas and hearing some conversations between Gary and Garrett, I think it actually might be true. So
yeah,
we'll see. Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, I do want to go ahead and kind of discuss Cassandra Nova, because there's interesting conversations going on. I'll say that. There are a lot of people that are just jumping on and look, it's fair because Disney's been on a trend, Marvel's been on a trend, but there are a lot of people that think this is just a variant of Charles Xavier, that it is a female Charles Xavier. Oh, hold on. Tim talk. Oh, my source from Disney can confirm. Okay, thank you, Tim. Thank you for your sources.
Which part, anyway, because that came in after we were talking Hulk, and before we were talking 5'3" Wolverine.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Hell, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Look, this is why I can't run a show, because I can't multitask to save my life.
You need an X-ray girl.
I do need an X-ray girl. X-ray girl. Maybe in time I'll what? Maybe in time I'll find one.
Oh, you need like a gong when you say your name.
Gong. Oh, we do.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm sure she would love that. So Cassandra Nova, a lot of people are getting upset online because they think it's just Marvel pulling the same thing and having a variant of speak of him and he shall appear. We've got Jim from Weird Science. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's up, Jim?
We debuted the Kneel Before Doomface song earlier, so got that out there, buddy.
Yes, man.
We did. Guys, go check out Jim's channel. He does some hilarious stuff over there. I always enjoy listening to him and then hearing him get in trouble with people.
Great, honest reviews.
Yes, and Jim, we're happy you're alive and we're happy you're not dead. And if you're wondering, just tune in to Comics Aficionados on Saturdays to understand why I'm saying that. But Cassandra Nova, guys, let's talk about her. Again, a lot of people have been kind of upset thinking Marvel's doing the same shtick that they've been pulling with variants and gender swapping and all this. This is not a gender swap Charles Xavier. This is, as we mentioned earlier, Charles Xavier's twin. And she was first introduced back in Grant Morrison's run, which is 2001, I believe.
Yeah. 23 years ago or so. Yeah.
Right. And she played a prominent role in one of his arcs and during his the first arc. Yep. And it's as great as that is. We all know that the if you really want to get the comics lore on Cassandra Nova, you need to go pick up Steve Orlando or Tom Taylor's run, right?
No.
Yeah, or not.
No.
Or not. Wait,
way to piggyback.
What are you guys saying? Tom Taylor's X-Men Red is like the best X-Men reading ever.
Yeah, Mustard and Bigotry.
Yeah, speak to a kindergartner.
Oh, I'm sure he was so proud of himself after that line too. I'm sure he just like reached up past his stupid Newsies cap and patted himself on the back and was like, "You really did it, Tom. You really good at this."
Yeah. But no, seriously, if you want to get an idea of who Cassandra Nova is, I highly recommend you go pick up Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley's run on X-Men. And it, as Drew said, it's E for Extinction. But Drew, do you want to kind of give a rundown of who Cassandra Nova is and kind of the role she plays with the X-Men?
Okay, not gonna lie, it's gonna get a little weird.
It's really weird. It's Grant Morrison, so just be prepared.
Yeah. Okay. So when Xavier was in the womb, Cassandra Nova was in the womb as well. Xavier felt her presence and saw that was evil and strangled her, killed her in the womb. But somehow, her, I forget what the name of it's a spiritual essence where it's begins with an M. It's like a revenant essence. It left the body. It survived, left the body, and it forged its own human body as it's left. And then eventually, some years later, finds Bolivar Trask, reactivates the Sentinels, and developed her own psychic abilities and took over Xavier's body. It's a whole thing. It's nuts.
It's the kind of crazy town that you only get from like comics by people who've done a lot of mushrooms.
Yes.
And nothing against mushrooms, not at all.
No. But really, like, honestly, this is probably that is the one good Cassandra Nova run. For as long as she's been in like 20 some odd years, that's probably been like the one good time she had.
She's a lot like Kid Omega, Quentin Quire.
Mm-hmm.
You read Grant Morrison's version of the character, and then you never pay attention to anything else because no one else has gotten it right since.
Nope. At all. I would even say Cassandra Nova, to a degree, it is almost like one of those, like you have your story and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
For me, she's not one of those characters or villains that the original story is so big and so intense that you're not really going to top it and have it make sense. So it's one of those that, like, yep, it happened. She was a, strong foe. She really caused a challenge, but we're past that, and let's keep going with the other characters.
Other characters, you know what? Other X-Men characters I would put in that category. Proteus. I would say we never needed to go back to Proteus, and I would actually say the Phoenix Force. Never should touch the Phoenix Force after that initial storyline.
Reused.
Nice.
But and I would say physically, the one thing, my one knock on this visual is that I like how Frank Quitely illustrated Cassandra Nova. She looked like a withered old prune, like a withered old like a fetus, like a dried out fetus, pretty much walking around.
I'm glad they didn't go with that for the movie, though.
But it just, I would like maybe like a little older, Cassandra Nova or something. But it is.
But like I said, like look, like that to me, that looks like they just went in and like digitally made James McAvoy a woman.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And so I kind of dig it. I think they found like an actress, and like when she's doing the thing where she's like making Wolverine, like manipulating him, I thought that like her facial expressions looked great.
Yeah.
She's like, you can tell she's having fun with it. So the actress here is Emma Corrin, and she's been on. I know her from The Crown. I know she's done a lot of other stuff, but she was the first actress to play Princess Diana on The Crown, and she seems like a good actress.
Oh wow! Wow!
Jeez. Yeah. So she's the one that played younger Diana when she first meets Charles, and I mean, I like her presence here. I think it'll be interesting. I agree with Aaron. I like that she looks like a baby, like a male James McAvoy. It works. It kind of makes me hope we see James McAvoy in this. But I'm really curious to see what they do with her and how they utilize her, because I feel like more so than being an X-Men villain, I feel like she is a Professor X villain. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah. Xavier tried to kill her in the womb, of course.
You can't be that powerful and not be an Xavier villain, like basically.
Right.
Yes.
It's
agreed. And look, maybe that is ultimately the point, and we'll get to that in the film. But it's an interesting choice, and I do think this was something that was changed during the writer's strike, because I know there was no discussion of Cassandra Nova at all prior to the writer's strike, and then when they shut down for months, and then came back afterwards and kind of reshifted, then the Cassandra Nova rumor started. So. But
I don't really know how to say this, but I don't know how she'll look in the film, but this still image right here, kind of working for me.
I mean, there's pictures, there's other, images of her. So you got the one where she's fighting Wolverine, but you got the one where she's coming out of Ant-Man's head. She's walking down the ramp. And, we'll get to that in a second. But
hey, Giant Man.
Oh, sorry,
Giant Man.
Coming out of Giant Man's head. But she looks good. I mean, I'm down. And look, it's an unexpected pick. It's an interesting pick. It's different. Like, there's a lot of positives here with this. So if they utilize her well, then hell yeah. Let's just hope they utilize her the Grant Morrison way and not the I'm hitting my microphone, not the Orlando or Tom Taylor way. Just I
agree.
Just throwing that out there. We do have Jim coming in, sexy as hell. What? Jim,
yeah, I responded to Jim.
Disagree?
I responded to Jim with just wood.
Wood. Bravo, Dave. What's up, brother? I checked the YouTube stream on my end. It seems to be okay. I am on Twitter. I'm streaming live to Twitter for the first time. But I'm sorry you're having issues with YouTube, but I did see your comment from Twitter as well. So I appreciate you being there. And if anyone else is having issues with YouTube, just let me know.
Blacklight District Studios. We got Jesse Snyder in the chat.
I was just about to go there. Hey boys, having fun? We are. And he says he prefers gnarly old Cassandra Nova myself, but this works. I mean,
on the same
there's a certain aesthetic to wrinkly Cassandra Nova, but I don't know how that would have translated to screen unless they just made her look old. But
yeah, it might have been like they might have actually even tried doing the makeup and just been like, it doesn't. She's just looking like the Emperor.
We got a couple of questions here. So Ian, wait, what did Tom Taylor and Steve Orlando do with Cassandra Nova? Jesse's coming in with the same thing. Yeah, what did they do with her? It's not necessarily
nothing
they
good.
did. Yeah, they used her, and it was just not. Look, both of those runs for me were just lackluster across the board. So I wasn't the biggest fan.
It really lacked the menace and the presence that Cassandra had from Grant's run.
There's just certain things that there's certain things that you shouldn't touch. And when you have a writer like Grant Morrison, who is able to deliver at such a high level, if you're a Tom Taylor or a Steve Orlando, don't even try. What are you doing? You're not you're not fit to wipe the dust off of his spats as a writer. Just don't try it.
I will say Jim popped in and said Steve Orlando is a nice guy, though. I completely agree. And I've talked about this on other streams. As much as I've disliked a lot of his recent work, some of his earlier works I really liked. I thought he had a good start to his career. Not really sure what happened, but I've had multiple conversations with Steve. He's genuinely a super nice guy. He takes criticism well, and he can let criticism kind of roll off his back pretty well. So
I think what's happening is early in his career, he probably had good editors. He probably had good editors that were this is the best version of your story. This is the stuff that you need to trim away. And nobody in comics seems to have that anymore. It just seems like everybody's left to their own devices, and just your first draft is pushed through because the editors either don't have the time or the interest to help you become a better writer.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, specifically, I remember him doing pickups on some Batman issues, I think during Batman Eternal, and I felt like some of his issues were the stronger issues. His Midnighter for me was good. I liked his Midnighter. And he co-wrote a Batman Spirit book with Scott Snyder, which was okay. And then he came back solo and did a follow-up that was the Spirit Batman, I think.
He did. I let his Shadow Batman. He did. I thought
Shadow. That's what it was. My bad. So yeah, his Shadow Batman that he did, where he brought Damian into the story, I thought was a lot of fun and really good. But
am I the only one here that's just in general tired of Scott Snyder? I mean, not just as a writer, but as a human being.
No.
Yeah.
Not
well, I know you're not, Josh, because you've actually had some run-ins. I saw his tweet. I saw his tweet today or yesterday or whatever it was that. I saw it today, but it was about how a lot of people think that if you work for Marvel or DC, you want the other company to fail, and I'm like, literally nobody thinks that. This is just a straw man that you're creating to go on to some point. And then he's like, but actually, we're all really good friends. Oh, are you? Are you all really good friends in this industry? This industry where you're all terrified of each other, and there's all these whisper network, backstabbings, and you're continually looking over your shoulder and trying to placate them with tweets like this. Are y'all good friends in this industry where a man was just driven to suicide? Are you really? nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
I know you're scared. I know you're scared because you're a white man in this comic industry, and you've got to try to like keep putting these tweets out to as just as offerings to keep from getting burned down. But just stop. Just stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not alone. I said it. Ian even is coming in. He's also very tired. And look, I will say Ian's probably like one of the nicest people I know. So Ian coming in and being like, "Yeah, I can't. I'm tired." It's telling. Jim says, referring to Orlando, Steve, that Martian Manhunter is pretty good. That's one of the ones I didn't read, so I need to pick it up.
I haven't read it. Yeah.
That was the what's Riley Rossmo did the art. Yeah, on that one.
Yeah. Oh, Jim has some words on Scott Snyder. There you go.
Okay. All right.
Listen,
I was just like, I find him kind of spineless, but here comes Jim with the hot take.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll pretty much agree with those sentiments there, Jim. So me and my Dr. Pepper Zero, cheers.
He's nice to you if you can help him. Yeah, that seems to be a lot of people in the industry, sadly.
Yep, unfortunately. Yeah. We do have a couple comments here real quick though. JD Petty, I want to have to head to bed. Have a great night. My cousin loved Fox X-Men, but he doesn't like Wolverine's comic looks. Oh,
what?
That's like
one of the. Why I'm here.
I know. Like which I didn't expect them to show the mask in the trailer, but I can't wait to see the mask in the actual film.
Yeah. So it looks like it's hanging from the back of his neck, right? It looks like it's kind of like a pull on.
Yeah, it looks like
you pull it, pull it over. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome. And I know when
we've been waiting for this since the year 2000.
Yeah, literally. What did you want? Yellow spandex? Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Yes, we did. Not your black fetish leather, Bryan Singer, which we later found out quite a lot about.
Well,
hey, do you think he's coming back in any capacity? You think Bryan Singer's gonna have a cameo?
Nope, probably not.
No?
Probably not. Not at all. I don't expect that at one bit. Yeah, which is a shame because he did decent stuff with the films, but God, don't be a creeper. Tim's talk. Deadpool and Wolverine trailer looks dope, yo. And Tim thinks it's gonna hit 1.2 billion. So,
whoa.
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
let's find out.
We'll see. It might be the only thing this year that crosses $1 billion.
It's rated R, which doesn't work in its favor. I know that it'll be really popular amongst Hispanic audiences, so that'll be huge.
Yeah.
Because Hispanic audiences love Deadpool like they love Goku. Like there's just no stopping it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take it. It's probably the whole chimichanga thing. That's whoever came up with the chimichanga thing. That's why. Kudos to them. We have Vex Electronic in the house. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday, Vex. We love Vex. She does a lot of movie reviews. I'll be excited to hear Vex's movie review for Deadpool. JD Petty, a little Deadpool goes a long way in taking the MCU humor to R-rated. Doesn't make it better. Agreed. I definitely have to take Deadpool in doses. Like I saw the first two films in the theaters. I had a lot of fun. I thought they were great. It's not something I revisit, and I'll revisit other films quite a bit, but I agree with you. As for the MC humor going to R-rated, it's not so much that it's R-rated, but I love the fact that I kind of feel like Feige and Disney are having to kind of just suck it up and take it. But some of the commentary about Disney that we're already seeing and that we know are going to be in the film, I'm okay with it. Even some of the commentary on Fox, like I said last week, there was a clip from CinemaCon where something happens to Deadpool and then he yells "fuck you, Fox." So I'm okay with that. I don't mind.
I'm okay with that too. As long as Disney gets equal treatment for their stupid decisions, I think I'll enjoy it quite a bit. But if they try to sugarcoat like Disney's mistakes, if there's some good Bob Iger shots in here, I will love it. But I doubt there are.
Oh yeah, I don't know if there'll be Bob. They might slip one in. I genuinely hope they just gave them free reign, and just let them do their thing. But we'll see. It's July. We have a couple of months and we'll find out. Ivan Sanchez says they use too much. They use the F word too much.
I agree.
Yeah, it felt like they were trying to prove a point, and like, look, you kind of proved your point. We're good. So
It's not your daddy's MCU.
it's not your. This isn't your grandma's MCU. Yeah. Zax is coming in as well with Ryan Reynolds and Wolverine are both Canadian. You're welcome. Oh, geez, here we go. All right, okay, Zax,
But Thor and Wolverine are both Australian. Thor and Hugh Jackman, I should say.
There we go. Yeah, well,
But Wolverine's actually in the car.
Chris Hemsworth, you guys know what I mean.
That's right. Wolverine and Pride of the X-Men was also Australian. Why?
That's right.
We don't know.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
was.
Oh, that dingo! She's not joining the team, is she?
Oh, she's just a kid. Yeah.
Let's get out, Becky. It's some Alice Springs chicken.
Oh God, I'd like to slip one in. Oh my God, did I really say that? Did I really say that? Oh geez, I'm the worst at saying stuff I regret online. You know, welcome to the party, folks. Hey, we're at 40 people that live right now. If you've never been here, welcome. We're just a bunch of guys having fun talking about nerd stuff. But please hit the like button, please share, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. But yeah, is there anything else? Is there anything you guys hope to see Cassandra do during the film, or are you just kind of like, yep, it's a good choice, interesting, we'll run with it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any, like, at this point, I've learned not to have expectations
Right.
going into MCU films, because having expectations is a path to disaster. Although going in with no expectations hasn't worked on Phase 4 and 5 either, because I've still been like, oh God. But you know, just if they just do a good, fun movie with lots of kick-ass action, and the humor isn't too stupid, and it takes lots of shots at Disney and the mistakes that they've made, I think I'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't really
Agreed.
care about Cassandra Nova being the villain. I just think that the actress looks neat. The choices look neat. The scenes that they've shown look neat. I don't know how it'll fit into an overarching narrative, and I don't really need it to be all that complicated.
Exactly. I just want to. It looks like, honestly, I'm gonna have more fun with the cameo lackeys than anything else. Those are the ones I want to see.
Yeah, agreed. And we're about to touch on some of those. I just one more comment before we move to that. Armando Lopez. I wanted the brown suit Wolverine, but it is cool to see Jackman in a comic suit. I agree. I prefer the brown suit, but the yellow suit is making me happy, and I kind of think you're going to get brown suit for the mainstream MCU X-Men. So, just
that'd be cool.
That would be cool. So, Drew, you mentioned lackeys, and the last trailer showed Pyro up close, and this one gave us a hint of who else we can expect. But it's a blink and you miss it kind of shot. So first off, I love that you've got a dead corpse of Giant Man that's serving as the base of, it looks like it's the base of Cassandra Nova in the Void. So if you're unfamiliar with the Void, and look, I know this is going to make people roll their eyes, but this is the place at the end of time where all the things that have no place to go end up. And it's kind of based on Loki and what Loki explored. But yeah, you've got Cassandra Nova that appears to be living out of Giant Man's head.
Yeah, and I think it works because in the E for Extinction, I think she was in a giant Sentinel head. I think she had
so.
Like a throne room or something.
Also,
right.
this kind of ties into Mark Miller's Old Man Logan, where the corpse of Giant Man was like laid out across the country.
Yes.
I think this is also a meta commentary on the fact that I think it's funny that we get this image the same week that we find out exactly how much money Ant-Man Quantumania lost. They spent over $330 million just on production, not even including marketing. And like you said, let's be conservative and say they did 100 million in marketing. We know they probably did more, but that makes it 430. The movie only brought in 445, and at best they only netted half of that.
Yep.
So they lost over $200 million on Ant-Man Quantumania.
Well, and what's interesting is there was a report that came out, probably like 6 months ago, where Feige and the different executives were discussing when they realized they had a problem, and they thought everything that they had been doing was good, and they said, quote, "We knew we had a problem when Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania failed." I'm like, how did you not know it was going to fail? So, but yeah.
How did you look at that movie? How did you look at that script? How did you look at MODOK? And say how did you look at the brown sludge CGI that the poor VFX artists got, forced to do at the last minute? Like, everything about that movie is ugly.
Yeah.
The only cool thing about that movie was the trailer. I liked the trailer well enough.
Yeah. Oh, I will even say that Jonathan Majors as Kang was cool until he got beat by ants.
Socialist ants.
Yes. Oh man.
Hey, you know what'd be great if we're gonna introduce, like, if Thanos had shown up at the end of Avengers and to court to court death, and then Thanos turned and then Thor just flew into the panel and punched him into the moon. You don't nerf your villain. Like, whose dumb idea was that? What was the writer's name? Loveness? Oh, it'd be really cool if Kang got defeated right away, because then you get to see him come back. No.
Yeah, no, he's
Twice.
not writing scripts
Twice
anymore,
at that point.
so, yeah, he's out the picture now, thankfully. But yeah, look, I'm gonna agree with Drew here. I got a little excited when I saw some of these people pop up. I'll say most of these people, most of these characters. I'm gonna start off by saying we have Callisto from X-Men: The Last Stand, who's on the far left. I don't know why you brought her back. Maybe you just needed representation from that film to recognize that film. But okay,
Ding, ding, ding.
Cool. Yeah. So
I guess. I would rather you brought back Madrox or Juggernaut, Vinnie Jones.
Yeah.
Juggernaut. I would have rather seen.
Oh yeah. Vinnie Jones Juggernaut would have been a much better choice. Even though I hate that depiction of Juggernaut, I would take that over this.
Yeah.
But I was gonna, Drew mentioned all these characters coming in. I just hope they don't show up and just like get killed instantly. I hope we get to see them do something cool, so that they at least have
right.
Yeah, so that they have some type of purpose. But yeah,
Kelly Hu was so cool as Deathstrike,
and that's what I was about to say. And Drew, you and I, we just filmed our Marvelous Monday for X-Men First Class, and Azazel is a really cool character that they can do really cool stuff with action wise. And if you have Kelly Hu and Azazel just like kicking ass in this huge battle, I'm down. Like I am there.
I think there's a missed opportunity here though, because they are in the void. They are in like this wasteland. You could have put Kelly Hu in a Deathstrike type outfit. You could have had her in like, the robes,
the actual,
like you could have done that, and it would have looked pieced together out of the wasteland. You could have really made it look like Mad Max, like a Mad Max kind of version of that.
Yeah, because a lot of this has a Mad Max look already. So I wish they would have just gone with it. But yeah.
Pyro looks like straight out of Mad Max, the little bits that we've seen of him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's interesting. He really does, because he's got the brown and the red. But yeah, so here for sure we know we've got Callisto, Toad, and I'm gonna say I don't think that's Ray Park, but I think it's the Ray Park. Well, but there's drama with Ray. There's
drama with everybody in the MCU. Everybody's accused of beating their wives or throwing people out of a plate glass window, or kicking Angela Lansbury down a flight of stairs.
That's a death penalty right there. Jeez, wow.
Look, there's like video of him, I guess, assaulting his wife. Or
is there really? Oh my
what?
gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Wow. It was I'd have to look it up. It came out a little, like, I guess a year or two ago, but it was not great. And I was like, oh damn, that's Darth Maul and Toad. I mean, less concerned with Toad, but I'd always had hope that this is before Disney completely ruined Star Wars. But I always had hoped that we might see him as Darth Maul again. But now, meh. But we've got Toad here again, Lady Deathstrike, who X2, her fight with Wolverine, freaking awesome fight scene. Azazel, who when he attacked the CIA compound in X-Men First Class, freaking awesome fight scene. Pyro can do some cool stuff. Why not? So cool people here. Like, why not? And we know, we discussed this before on a previous stream, but we know Sabretooth is here, the Tyler Mane version.
Can we combine Tyler Mane and Liev Schreiber into one? Yeah, because that would be like
I
the
hope
right
so.
Sabretooth. I remember being so
If-
disappointed in that first X-Men movie
Oh,
with
it was so
Sabretooth,
bad.
just because it's like they never like touched on the fact that they knew each other. They never went
Nope.
anywhere with him.
At all. Yeah, no, if you could combine those, I would be, or bring them both in, why not? But yeah, preferably combine them. But I think it's fair to say if they're showing us this, there's still plenty that we haven't seen. And like we discussed earlier, we know that there are the good characters that we know that have officially signed on. And they've, tweeted stuff, posted stuff to Instagram, all that jazz. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I will take this as a nice goodbye to these characters. So yeah,
It is kind of neat.
Drew,
It is kind of neat to see him again. Like, and you know what? Azazel was way cooler in X-Men First Class than he ever was in that terrible Chuck Austin run when they introduced him and was like, Nightcrawler's father is the devil. Although now, like at the time, I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. Although now that we know that Nightcrawler was Destiny's butt baby, I'm just like, I'd go back to Azazel in a heartbeat, man.
See, and this is why we needed Ryan for that, or Aaron for that filming of Marvelous Monday. Just because we kept hinting at like what comics have done with Nightcrawler's origin is so awful now, and but we didn't go into detail. But Aaron's popping out now that we know that Nightcrawler's Destiny's butt baby.
I'm not popping out. Nightcrawler was popping out of Destiny's butt.
Yeah.
Well, and not just that. I mean, the entire current X-Men run is making Chuck Austin's run look like a fucking legendary run right now. So,
I'd take Chuck Austin's run back in a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anybody here that you guys, or anybody not here that you kind of hope to see from the X-Men films?
Blob. I would like to see Blob with Pyro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That would have been, and I can't think of the actor's name now, but the guy from X-Men Origins. Because I know he had mentioned
Tyler Kitsch as Gambit. I would like to see that. I have no interest in seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit. I never have. And I like Channing Tatum well enough. Like at first, I really disliked him, and I saw the G.I. Joe movie where he was horribly miscast as Duke. And I was like, God, I can't stand this guy. And Jesse, who's in the chat, actually set me straight on something. I said, he's like one of those guys, and they're like, hey, be shirtless in front of a chalkboard, and you're like writing on the chalkboard like a teacher, but you got a tie, but you're shirtless, and you're holding a puppy, and you're all oiled up. And I'm like, I freaking hate that. And Jesse goes, well, there's a guy who was like an MTV like VJ and a guy who's like been kind of in that world. He goes, a lot of people tell you a lot of stuff like this is going to be great. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't really know the business. And he goes, and the next thing you know, everybody thinks you're a douchebag because they got you to do this stupid photo shoot. And I was like, oh,
Absolutely.
okay, maybe I was too harsh on old Channing Tatum there. And then when I saw This Is the End, where he actually had a sense of humor about himself and was on the chain like the gimp with Danny McBride.
Oh,
Danny
yes.
McBride's like, I banged this guy. I slide right in there. And Channing Tatum like pulls up the gimp mask, like, hey, what's up, guys? They're like, is that Channing Tatum? I was like, okay, he's got a sense of humor about himself. I like him now.
Yeah, he does seem to have a pretty decent sense of humor.
He was good in the 21 and 22 Jump Street films.
He was good in that second Kingsman film that was so laughably bad that when Mark Strong blew up, I started laughing hysterically and I could not stop. And somebody threw like their M&Ms at me because I could not stop laughing. It's supposed to be this dramatic moment where he's singing and standing on the landmine, and then he blows up, and I just lost it. I could not recover.
Yeah.
I try to pretend. I try to think that second film never happened. I've never rewatched that film.
Same. I look. I know you said you have no interest in seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit. I will say I agreed with you in the sense that I didn't want him in the main universe. But since it never happened, I kind of want him to show up. He may or may not have signed a contract. I kind of want him to show up. Look, he signed a contract. That doesn't mean he's going to be here, but it's highly likely. And I think since so many fans were excited for that, if they do deliver it, it could be a lot of fun. So I'll throw that one out there. But yeah, you guys don't want Apocalypse?
Ivan Ooze, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
You know, the sad thing about that is that Oscar Isaac is trying, and MVP had a great point. He said that the thing that he loved about Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine is that he takes it seriously. He's never phoned it in. I completely agree with that, Max. And I also would say that for Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is trying through that terrible, terrible makeup. He's trying so hard. Like I still quote "and from the ashes of their world, we shall build a better one." I think I even kind of crib that. There's a lot of like cribbed Doomface lines that are taken from other great villain moments and kind of modified just so people go, "Oh, I see what you did there." You know, like a lot of like kind of like really classic villain lines that are remade for Doomface. And I think that's one of them that makes its way into the opening prologue.
Yeah. Adam Frey put, "Are we getting Danny DeVito as Earth X Wolverine? I'll go twice if so." Oh man. I will say that considering this is a Deadpool film, I would say anything is fair game. I don't know.
I'd take Danny DeVito. I'd take Danny DeVito as Toad.
I mean, look, we know we're getting multiple Deadpools. We know we're getting multiple Wolverines. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see some, you know, even if it's just a flash in the pan moment, I wouldn't be surprised if we see other versions of these characters. And I'm okay with that. So yeah. But yeah, overall, I think this is going to be fun. The trailer looks fun. And as we've said, Deadpool in small doses. I don't think this is going to save the MCU. I don't even think this is going to feel like the MCU. And I think that's really what's going to draw people to it. And I think when the regular MCU stuff starts coming back out, you're going to find that we have the same problems that we've been having. And it's just going to continue to slowly just kind of decline. But
this could be the last hurrah. I thought that Guardians was going to be the last hurrah for the MCU. This might be the last thing that anybody enjoys.
If they can get their shit together, the next Spider-Man movie could actually be good. Because I'm hearing they're wanting.
Like Sony's going to do that, right? Like,
well, Sony does it, but Marvel does the storytelling, like they have with the others. But they're going grounded. They're having Spider-Man kind of more like we know him from the comics. It's going to be street level. They're wanting Daredevil in it. They're wanting Kingpin in it. So we'll see.
Good! I can't wait to see Kingpin like crying over the fact that he was defeated by Echo. How much he loves Echo. Like they've ruined the Kingpin. Right. I don't want Kingpin in it. They've ruined D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Unless you're telling me that Echo does not exist and that Hawkeye show does not exist. Which we know the Hawkeye show exists because they still want to do Young Avengers, which no one is going to go see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the news, Josh? Just speaking of like Marvel stuff, they're like, they've decided to go back to basics with Blade and make it about Blade killing vampires. And you're like, what was it? But what was it otherwise? What was your idea besides that?
Yeah, right. What were you doing before this? Yeah.
well, the twist now is it's mega vampires. So yeah, there we go.
Oh no! Oh god, here we go.
Oh,
it's happening. Right. It's happening. Yeah. Look, I'll just finish this off. I hope we get some good Lady Deathstrike. I hope we get some good Azazel, even if it's brief. Just give me that goodness. So,
I just want to say in the chat that Miller #1 pointed out the fact that Kelly Hu is Visa Samaras in Knights of the Old Republic 2, and she is absolutely spectacular. Visas is a great character. I hope that Disney never, like, whenever I see somebody going like, they should make a Knights of the Old Republic movie, I'm like, the hell they should. You get that right out of your mouth. You shut up. Don't you touch those characters. I do not want to see Disney just drag their mouth. I don't want to see Mickey drag his taint across my beloved KOTOR. I absolutely do not want to see that.
I was going to say she was also the hot Asian chick in Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. We're going to move on to our final topic of the night. We're going to be shifting to comics. And strangely enough, we're kind of reverting back to a previous conversation because our final topic of tonight is DC Comics and their new Absolute line being headed by Scott Snyder. Oh gosh, where do we even start about? Look, we've already kind of thrown some personal opinions about Scott out there for various reasons that we have them. But let's start off by talking about the actual initiative here. So, Absolute, it was originally called Absolute Comics DC Comics, which was AC/DC, and I'm glad they just changed it to Absolute DC Comics. But this is going to be a new line within DC Comics that is but isn't in continuity. They're kind of starting things fresh. They're going to do cool new things with characters. They're going to be different. It's going to be kind of like Marvel's Ultimate line. So if something ends up being good enough, it's probably going to end up shifting to the main continuity. But it's basically creatives that are coming in saying, I want to tell good stories and I don't want to be tied down to continuity. And they're kind of being like we did with the New 52. It makes me laugh because if you read the New 52, it kind of started off that way, which was okay, I guess, but they weren't really true to the characters. And I'll have Drew talk about kind of what we're hearing the stories might be, but it sounds like they're not going to be completely true to the characters here either. So it's like, okay, what's the point? That's part of the problem with main continuity.
You guys are already doing that in the main continuity.
Yeah, it feels like we're not being true to the characters there. Like, wow, what's going on? But yeah,
why don't you just make this just go back to right after Rebirth, make your big initiative the Rebirth universe, and then the Absolute universe can be all of the gay universe that's happening in DC now, and just see which one sells better. You can put your Tim Sheridan Green Lantern over there. You can put your Megan Fitzmartin Robin over there. All the stuff that nobody wants. Your T. Franklin Harley Quinns. All your Fire and Ice. Just all this hot garbage. Why are you starting a universe that you're like, this is where the cool stuff's going to be? Your main line should be the cool stuff.
Your main line should be the cool. I completely agree. In anything that you want that's experimental, that's what your other universe should be. And my other comment on this in general is just strictly like, okay, so what is Black Label then? Like, we still have Black Label going on. So, the kind of initiative for New 52 when it launched was to kind of just reset, not be tied down to continuity, let creators tell their own story, which happened for about a year. And then everyone just started trying to retell the stories that had already been told, but it was a half-assed version that wasn't nearly as good. And then we got Rebirth, which is like, okay, we're going to focus on creative, but we're going to get back to the heart of the characters. And that felt more like traditional comics. But then they launched Black Label, which is supposed to be top tier talent, not being tied down by continuity, getting to do their own thing, kind of being experimental. And it's still going, but hey, we're doing Absolute.
Well, let's remember that it was Black Label was the very best creative teams in comics and Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Yeah. Real quick, Ian put, I'm very curious, is this Absolute Comics thing actually true? I don't trust Rich. I don't trust Rich either, but I can tell you it is, in fact, absolutely true. And what I can tell you is it's something that's been kind of discussed and talked about for a little while now. It was being discussed and was kind of pitched as Snyder's version of Marvel's Ultimates, and that's kind of how they were approaching it. And then ideas started coming forward, and DC was like, maybe we're gonna slowly back away from this. And then Jeff Johns started trying to poach people for his line.
Ghost Machine.
Yes, Ghost Machine. And suddenly DC was like, oh shit, we need to get these people in with some type of contract or doing something before we lose them. So I can tell you right now, even though there haven't been official announcements, it's my understanding Scott's writing, they've got Jason Aaron, and they've got Al Ewing all coming in to write stories. And I know that Scott is supposed to be doing the Batman story, I believe, and we'll see who's doing the others. But Drew, I know you've heard some information. I don't know if you want to share kind of what you've heard is potentially taking place. And again, for now, take this as rumors because nothing official has been announced. But I can tell you the names from the creators I've heard comes from a good source that is inside DC. So
you should just play the clip of Doomcock going, well, I cannot personally verify this information. I ask that you take it as unverified rumor and with a grain of salt.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, anything can change. So
yes, but before we get to the rumors, we do want to say what is fact. According to Rob Liefeld on his podcast, numerous people, numerous talents were asked and courted to take part in this, and a lot of them said no. We're not touching this. So
like
we
the
have
like
here,
the X-Men. Just like the X-Men.
Yeah, like the
Some
X-Men.
revert going,
Yes.
hey, you want to do some X-Men? They're going, no. No.
Yep. And yeah, here you go. You got the scraps here. And apparently, so according to the one I heard about the Batman is that I believe rumor is Scott Snyder and Ram V are attached to it. And that this Batman is just a Bruce Wayne who never had money, just a broke guy, and becomes the Batman.
Prometheus.
And Superman is pretty much the alien without the human element. Pretty much that's who he is. Just, Ultraman or the Man of Steel. There you go, there.
The Plutonian.
Yes.
So it's Mark Waid's Irredeemable.
Yep. And Wonder Woman is effectively like a Tomb Raider, like a Tomb Raider type character. But
well, that's good because Tomb Raider's not anymore because that's colonialist.
Yes, exactly. So there you go. Take it. Those are the rumors right now.
I hate everything. I hate the modern day. I hate the fact that we can't have fun anymore because some blue-haired college land whale is going to start crying on Twitter about it.
Yeah, I hate that everything that we're getting. Well, I don't want to say everything. I'll say most of what we're getting from the mainstream comics is pretty much stories that the people that when you look at these people, you're like, or hear them talk, you're like, yeah, those are terrible ideas. You shouldn't be writing comics. But those are the ideas we're getting, and it's those people coming up with wouldn't it be cool if? And no, it's not. It would not be cool. It is not cool. I do not want it. Please.
Do you know
go
what
away.
these sound like to me? Every single one of these pitches sounds like, what if we did Batman, but not interesting? What if we did Superman, but not compelling? What if we did Wonder Woman, but we just did Lara Croft?
Right. But
like,
also it's the situation too of what we're already getting in mainstream. Like, what if we did Batman, but it's not really Batman? And what if we did Superman, but it's not really Superman? Like, it's one thing to keep the character the same and change their environment, but it's different when you change the character and change the environment. At that point, you're just telling a story with an original character, and you're just slapping somebody else's name on it. That's not what I want. Like, no. I could care less.
It's like when they did like Stan Lee's Batman, Stan Lee's Wonder Woman, Stan Lee's Superman.
We were talking about this beforehand. We were talking
really?
before you came on, Aaron.
Yeah,
I had said the same thing to Josh, that this sounds exactly like Stan Lee's take on the DC Comics. This is what this sounds like.
Yeah, because it's like that's not how Stan Lee would have created Superman. That's you saying, here's Superman, now do a different spin on it. And you're coming in after the fact, after it's already been created. Like, it's just kind of like a weird thing. Like, Jesse has a good point in the chat. He says, for me, it's not about changing anything. It's about walking back to a new baseline and building from there. Yeah, you go back to what worked and you shave away like all of the terrible things that have been done, and you find a new way to tell that same story, to use that same character. Like, changing a character, okay, so this isn't Batman anymore. This isn't Superman anymore. You're essentially writing about a new character in the skin of the old character. I don't have any interest in that.
No. And I kind of wish, like, I don't know. I feel like I've had enough Batman from Scott Snyder. I really don't want more. He had some solid Batman work in the New 52.
One solid story.
The Court of the Owls was decent. I didn't hate Death of the Family. Like, I didn't think it was awful. I thought it did some okay things. And his in-game story, I thought, was a decent Joker story. But the only thing that was great was Court of the Owls. And then prior to that, Black Mirror is one of my favorite Batman stories, but it's Dick Grayson.
Court of Owls is one of those ones where it's like, it's a really great idea. Yeah. Like, the concept is a really great idea. And then you get into like, would I have liked a little bit different execution? Probably, but still paid off in a way that I found satisfying.
Right.
I didn't care for Death of the Family. I thought it was way too edgelord for me. Joker with his face and all the I think that's my problem with Scott in general, is I find his stuff to be very like middle-aged, timid dad trying to be edgy teen, That's what I don't connect with him on. That's just kind of like how I feel. And there may be a certain amount of charm to his writing. Jesse once told me that I don't like to be charmed. I'm turned off by charming writers. And I suppose there's probably some fairness to that. But yeah, I'm just I don't know. I've never been particularly interested in his Batman stuff post Court of Owls. I did not really care for any of the death metal stuff.
I
Again,
did not
just
either.
super edgy. I did like Noctura for a while until I just sort of fell off.
Right. I was gonna reference death metal and even his Justice League stuff for a bit. Like his Justice League started off okay and then kind of, but the more they took the reins off of him and kind of let him do his own thing, the less I liked his work. Which shocking. But yeah. So looking at the other people that I know have been named, Jason Aaron and then Al Ewing. Do you guys have an idea of potentially who might be taking Superman and who might be taking Wonder Woman?
I think they're going to give Jason Aaron Wonder Woman, and I think they're going to give Al Ewing Superman.
Yeah,
I could see that.
And I have no interest in either. Like none of these three writers' names are enough to get me in the door anymore.
Agreed. Well, and it's like for me, I don't hate everything Jason Aaron's done, but I don't love it. I also Al Ewing, like Hulk was good, but outside of that, I can't really think of what I've loved from him.
Yeah, I didn't like US Avengers. I don't really like even his original stuff. We only find them when they're dead. Great title. Love that title.
Didn't Al Ewing do like Avengers Inc. and X-Men Inc.? Wasn't that him?
Oh, I think it was. I can't say for sure, but yeah, that sounds right.
Drew, do you happen to remember?
I've blocked that all out, honestly. Those titles, I just remember seeing them on the shelf and just like, I have no interest in reading these damn books at all, period.
Oh, there we go. Everything is off.
Yeah. Sorry, I went to go look up if Al Ewing was the one that wrote it, but I muted myself so you wouldn't hear me typing. Oh, yep, it was Al Ewing. Avengers Inc. Al Ewing. Yep.
Honestly, the only thing the last thing I remember I actually liked that he did was Immortal Hulk. His first few issues, several issues, and then he threw Joe Bennett under the bus like a jackass. I couldn't believe that. And I have no interest in this guy.
Yeah. Look, DC ultimately is hoping that this will do a lot for them. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be. I think there will be interest in the first issue, but I don't even think this is going to hit like Marvel's current Ultimates line hit.
Oh no! I think this is. This will be a mild success, if that.
Yep. And the shame of all this too is what potentially could have been a hit for DC was Mark Millar coming on doing his Superman story and hopefully bringing some people on with him to do some stories for mainline continuity. But we also know that he's now backed out of that and he isn't doing it. So,
what's going to disappoint me more, Josh? Honestly, like if let's say in theory, if these stories are true, these elements for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are true. They do come out, and people are saying, "Isn't it so cool seeing Batman homeless and broke?" No. And isn't it cool seeing a Superman like ripping people's heads off? Does it give a shit anymore? No. What's wrong with you?
Well, and also like that's what we've been getting in mainline. So they in the New 52, they made Bruce pretty much homeless and broke. They took his manor away from him and they moved Arkham Asylum into the manor. And then when you got to Rebirth, James Tynion tried to do the same thing. They made and he didn't have any of his equipment and stuff. And now they're doing it again. And it's like, okay, we've been there, done that multiple times within the past like 5 years, 6 years. Same with Superman. We've gotten so many Superman stories where it's like angry or, killer Superman. We've tread that water. Like, I don't think we need to do it again. It was fun the first, Red Sun, great the first time. Injustice, equally as good. And then every other time they've tried to do it since then, I'm okay. I don't need it anymore. Thanks.
I don't need evil Superman anymore. I don't need
No.
more brutal Superman anymore. I don't need to see that ever again. It's been done to death. It's been done in Injustice. It was done in Irredeemable. I think it was done better in Irredeemable. Although I did enjoy the Injustice games. But I'm just tired of seeing them drag Superman down. I'm ready for a return to the inspiring, hopeful, Man of Tomorrow. That's what I'm. That's what I'm interested in.
And you know what, Aaron, and I think Mark Waid would agree with you that it's easy. It's low hanging fruit. Writing an evil Superman story.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told Kyle and I. And I agree. And like writing a hopeful Superman, someone who is a light beacon of inspiration for humanity. That's work. That's where you have to put in some fucking work. And a lot of these writers, Scott Snyder, probably don't want to put in that work.
I will say, I thought Scott actually delivered a solid Superman during his Justice League stories. There were some good Superman moments in his book. But for me, I think the last great Superman that I mean, not to discount what Philip Kennedy Johnson was doing with his Superman run. I thought it was good and entertaining. But for me, the last Superman that really just kind of resonated on multiple levels was Pete Tomasi. And what he did, because it was an inspirational Superman, but not even inspirational as Superman, but also as Clark, as a husband, as a father, as a son. Like, he was just across the board. And it's sad that he doesn't really get mentioned like he should, because there's not a distinct story that's like, oh, the story's kick-ass. Just his whole run, the breadth of his whole run is so incredibly good.
He's like a Chuck Dixon, where it's all solid. All the way across. Like, it's a consistent level of quality all the way across. And that's, I think that's one of the things that maybe bothers me about Snyder is I always feel like he's trying to write that epic story. Like, just set out to write a good story and the readers will decide if it's epic. Stop always trying to chase the Court of Owls where you had that one really great idea, and stop always trying to always come in with your best ideas. But, if you're going to do an ongoing, not everything has to be this big event. And that's kind of like what comics has become, is just this series of moving from one big event to another big event. It's why it's one of the major reasons that Tom King's Batman run didn't work. And when you got to City of Bane, you were like, I'm so bloody tired of this guy, and I'm so bloody tired of his take on Batman, and I'm so sick of this stupid city getting taken over, and you got Flashpoint Batman in there. Ooh, it's like, stop, just stop. You killed Alfred.
I'm having meltdowns writing reviews for those books. Oh, yeah.
Did you get calls? How come you only gave me an 8?
No. I didn't. Actually, I will say Tom King is another person that every encounter I had with him while with Batman News, he is very gracious and kind, even when he didn't need to be. So I will give him that respect. But I don't know if that's the same man that we see today.
Well, he's afraid you'd take a swing at him, Josh.
I mean, I'm just saying. But yeah, oh man. So the way Wes and I got connected was Wes actually sent me a message and was like, hey man, just want to check in and make sure you're okay. Because I was losing it during those reviews. But yeah, good times.
They broke you.
You know what?
Listen,
it was a couple of
as a
creator,
if you've ever contacted a reviewer and tried to convince them to give you a different review or complained about a review that you're getting, I don't care who you are, you're a douchebag. You're a douchebag.
Who on earth would you be talking about, Aaron?
I don't know.
I'm currently on the screen.
I just know all kinds of people. Like, I know there's more than one. I mean, there's it's like the I think Jim can tell us plenty of stories about people getting on his case. Like, if you didn't like, I mean, first of all, art is subjective to a large degree. So if your story didn't resonate with somebody, it didn't resonate with somebody. I've written stuff that didn't please everybody in the audience, but my goal is not to please everybody in the audience. My goal is to please the majority of the audience. If the majority of the audience is happy with what I've done, then I feel like I've done my job, because you can't please everybody. But I'm like, if someone's like, I didn't like this, I'm happy to discuss with people what they didn't like and give them my thinking on it. And I'll take into account their criticism, It doesn't mean that I didn't like it. They're not gonna be able to convince me necessarily that I didn't like what I did or that, I was wrong. So like I said, as long as the majority of people dug it, that's what I'm going for.
Absolutely.
So the idea of like calling up a reviewer and like being upset, like you only gave me how could you only give this a 7? I worked really hard on it. Look, I know some people that work really hard on that. There's one guy on Facebook who for years, he just keeps trying new things and every single one of them's a failure. And my buddy is obsessed with the fact that this guy can't even succeed by accident. And he's always sending me like the latest project that he's working on and that it's just been a complete disaster because this guy doesn't stick with anything. He just moves on to the next thing. He doesn't master it right away. He gets frustrated and he moves on. But it's just, it's like, I don't like hit that guy up and why would you do that? Like if someone doesn't, and he's like criticized stuff that I've done. And I'm like, dude, you've never done anything right. But he's like, but like I've seen criticism of stuff that I've done from him. I don't hit him up. I don't care. Did the majority of people like it? Sweet. I'm good.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That is what it's about.
Now, if everybody hates it, then I'll have to ask myself some hard questions about what I've done.
And then you might turn to people that were like, yeah, this is amazing. Like, did you guys lie to me? But I will say we're gonna wrap up tonight with this topic and go ahead and move into closing out the night. So before, I guess, do y'all have any last comments on the topics we covered tonight?
No, I think we got it.
Yeah, there we go,
Yep.
Drew. Exactly.
Brace for the worst.
On that note, I will throw it to my co-host here and let them say their goodbyes and let you know where you can find them if you want to. I'll start off with Aaron since we got to promote Doomface tonight. But Aaron, where can people find you if they want to find you? And let's plug that email again.
All right. You can find me on Twitter, Aaron_Sparrow. You can find me on Instagram, Aaron Sparrow. Love to talk to you guys. So, please come by and chat. Also, if you want to be notified and get sneak peeks and maybe be signed up for some exclusive items when the campaign launches for Kneel Before Doomface, you can send a message to kneelbeforedoomface@gmail.com and you may actually get a response from Lexi or Doomface themselves. Some people have been posting the responses online, and it's been pretty funny.
Nice. And Drew, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook as Dolan Waddick or on Instagram as Dolan_Waddick. I'm only posting comic books that I'm working on right now, the projects I'm tied with right now. Several images from Murat Michael's projects going on, one of which involves a character called Blindside. I can't say anything more than that, but let's just say he doesn't look too good for him right now. And there's a lot of projects coming out later this year, one of which, Unholy Nightmare, should be fulfilled later this year, and there'll be plenty of which that Aaron is editing right now, one of which I cannot wait for New York Comic Con. I can't wait to talk about these projects. It's driving me damn nuts. Okay,
it's the worst. It's not being able to talk about the stuff that you're doing is absolutely the worst.
Oh, okay. I'm going to agree because I think you're doing some of your best work right now.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed what you've done before, but I'm watching you progressively get better and better and better. And I'm just like,
no, Drew's he's leveling up quick.
Agreed.
I told him so he sent me a script late last week. Or no, he sent it to me early last week. I got to it late last week. But I wrote to him and I said, I have very minor notes on this. I think this is the strongest thing you've ever written.
Yeah, okay, so that script I have, and I read it. And then I texted him and I was like, look, I kind of have notes, but I just need to read it again. And he's like, oh, Aaron's already sent notes. Here's the updated version. So that's what I'm going to read after this. But it's something that when I read it the first time, I was kind of just like in bed, just chilling. And I want to have focus to read it. Because I think it's that kind of story and that kind of writing. But yeah.
Thanks, guys. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Shut up, Drew. We're not talking about you. Jesus.
Hey, it's been a rough month. I need that.
I'm giving you a hard time. But no, generally for both of you guys, as we've said before, I love seeing my friends succeed, and I love seeing what's the beginning of a lot of success for these guys, and I can't wait to see everything come out, and I can't wait to see people get their hands on these products and really get to experience it. Because also, like, I'm getting to see some of the art for these things, and We've gotten to tease Unholy Nightmare art, so people have seen that. But man, some of this other stuff that you have in the works that's coming out,
you're telling me. Yeah, it's like I'm anxious. I'm so anxious to get both the art, both the penciler and the inker on here, so we can talk about these new projects. It's driving me fucking nuts.
I will leave this conversation on this note. When I was in Vegas, when Max and I were in Vegas, there were 2 different mornings that we got to have breakfast with Kelly Jones. And one of the mornings, Kelly started talking about how lazy the art's gotten. And not so much that the artists are lazy, but just the time crunches and how little time they're getting and the turnarounds and stuff. And so much of your art, you're getting backgrounds that are just color splashes. And I was like, oh, hey, because I just sent you a message about one of your books, Drew, and some of the art that I'd seen. And I was like, oh my God, there's actual backgrounds. So I showed him that. I showed Kelly that text.
Oh, you did?
And I showed him the art. Well, he laughed at the message and he goes, oh, that looks damn good. So
yes.
just
Josh, I wish you hadn't mentioned having breakfast with Kelly Jones twice, because now I'm like, do I need to get a Kelly Jones Doomface cover? Do I need that in my life?
Oh.
Yes.
Perhaps. Anyways, if you guys want to find me or follow me on social media, you can find me at Joshua L. McDonald. That's typically my personal, sometimes crazy, wacky, spicy. You never know what you're going to see on that on Twitter. If you want to follow the channel and keep kind of to the nerd conversation, you can follow at By Popped. We are here every Tuesday. We have our first Monday of the month where we have Marvelous Monday. We debuted this month, April, with Captain America, the First Avenger. We've already filmed for X-Men First Class. That's going to debut in May. We've got some other comic stuff lined up. That's kind of in the works with Joe Corello, Eric Breen. Drew and I do top 5 comics each month. And we've got even more in the works. Mr. Max Von Priestley, who is in the chat. We are currently going through Buffy season 1 to debut Cherry Pop. So that should happen before too long. And lots of good stuff coming. And I thank you for the support. Make sure you like the channel, subscribe, share, tell your friends if they're nerds to come hang out with us, because we like to hang out with y'all. And on that note, folks, I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Go listen to the
Get the fuck